Well, definitely welcome to another interesting episode of the Kanti Talk here on Herman Manyura's YouTube channel. Definitely, I hope that you are doing well. I'm here with Professor Herman Manyura, ready to take you through comprehensive analysis of everything taking place in the country. Prof, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for making time for us here. Definitely, we are in this week post the mandamanos that took place. People lost their lives. But then something that, of course, struck me was the action by the police to tear gas. What do you make of this action by the police and how they reacted to those who were demonstrating on that particular day?
My position on police is very clear. I think the police are using outdated methods, first of all. Secondly, the command of the police and the political establishment have refused to know the truth and the reality that, one, the Constitution allows people to picket, demonstrate, and all those sort of things. And two, they don't have the power they are pretending to think they have. That's my position, and I think it's very unfortunate, and my condolences to the families who have lost loved ones. One life is one life too many.
Now, let us talk, of course, about the former Chief Justice. They are going to the Central Police Station to demand for the unconditional release of all those who were arrested therein. I wonder whether it was the right decision for him to make. I also saw Senior Counsel Junior Haminwa. They're very respected, learned people, learned friends for that matter, people who've got a lot of experience in the field of law, and definitely they know what is right and what is perhaps wrong. Do you think in the first place they were justified to go to the Central Police Station at
Again,
that moment?
First of all, there was no point of arresting those people. Even there's nothing that can stand in a court of law. The police can't charge them with anything. Unless the court they go to is not a court of justice. But any court of justice cannot listen to the prosecution. What case are you bringing against people? Unarmed civilians demonstrating. Article 37 the Constitution guarantee them the power, the right, and everything. Secondly, there's nothing wrong with senior citizens trying to help disadvantaged citizens by demanding for their release. When Kamino and William Mutunga add their face and their voice to an issue, it will receive more attention than if I went there myself, or yourself for that matter. So it's nothing wrong with that. But as far as William Mutunga is concerned, I sense a bit of crocodile tears. I look at either hypocrisy or maybe Mutunga has met his Damascus moment.
What do you mean by his Damascus moment?
There are men in this country who have squandered golden opportunities, very serious opportunities to help this country turn around. I identify William Mutunga as one of those people. History put the country in his hands, just like it did for Mwai Kibaki. Mwai Kibaki would have ended the tribalism once and for, it was a moment like no other. He squandered it. We are here still facing tribalism. William Mutunga in 2013 had an historic opportunity to end impunity in this country, to set the country on a path of development. William Mutunga had an opportunity to make a judgment, a sound judgment on the presidential petition of 2013. As a jurist, he knows the Constitution requires of officers in the administration of justice not to pay undue regard to procedural issues. He chose to hide into procedure to deny Raila that judgment. And that would have changed this country. If really, that was the time to end impunity, because one administration was coming to an end. Kibaki was going home. If that election had been overturned, this country would have set itself on a different path. So William Mutunga to me is not a serious judge. He was not a serious man. So now maybe he has met his Damascus moment.
Does it mean that the police perhaps were justified in this? And I wonder, okay, you've given me the background of why you feel that perhaps William Mutunga has met his kind of Damascus moment for you therein, but then he's a normal citizen just like you. Does it mean that if he sees anything wrong and perhaps impunity for that matter, then he cannot stand for any?
I have already said his face, his voice is stronger than mine. He can draw attention. The world has already known what was happening. It is good. You mean Kaminwa there, you think is a joke? Kaminwa is not Manyora. Kaminwa is a big name. The world will stop and listen to Kaminwa. Look at this old man standing up for justice and being tear gassed. William Mutunga is a name. He's an international figure. He's an international name. So going there, I have said, adding their face and their voice to a cause certainly delivers a lot more than ordinary people could. So it was good for them to go.
Definitely.
But I'm just adding about Mutunga the person and just wanting to remind him he squandered an opportunity to change this country.
Perry, now, do you think there is a problem definitely with our police system? Because we are looking at a place where by anytime people go outside there to express their views through the constitutionally agreed provisions therein, for instance, picketing and demonstrations, then we fear the kind of aftermath that there would be. When people go to talk to them directly, when people face them this way, then they would be tear gassed. And the manner in which our police always react leaves behind some sort of death toll, and they've always been criticized for that. But then these changes, we don't see them. Every day people demonstrate, people have to lose their lives, people go to protest for those who've been arrested, they get tear gassed, and we get in such kind of confusion. Is there a problem with our system?
I am saying there are two problems here. One rests with the command, which means the police command plus the political leadership. That's a problem. They seem not to understand that you should not stop peaceful demonstrations. They see across the world people demonstrate. The work of the police is not to tear gas people. It's not to beat up people. It's not to break demonstrations. Rather to guide the people, the demonstrators, you know, to make sure no other people take advantage to loot and damage property. And to make sure they use the right routes. Work within the confines of the law. Instead, they go there to break their demonstration. That blame is squarely to the police command and the political leadership. But it's also the question of operation. The police are operating as if they are in 1940. Every small thing they throw at tear gas. Recently, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago, parents at Mukumu Girls, in our school, parents just trying to inspect where is this food that has killed our children, where are they storing? Pop, tear. You see police throwing tear gas even in the village. You wonder, what do the police think tear gas is? And today, like I've been warning them, things are beginning to happen the way I've warned. The people are returning the tear gas to the police. So even in terms of whether that is productive, is effective, is every day being thrown to doubt. It's now doubtful whether the police can manage crowds. And if they continue the way they are continuing, and I'm warning them, I'm continue warning them and advising them. If the police continue the way they are continuing, and we have more demonstrations, if we have 4, 5, 6 more demonstrations, the police will be useless. They will be rendered completely irrelevant, which is not good for the country. We must live in a country where people respect the police, law and order. Where people, even 100 people, are willing to be arrested by 2 policemen. We must obey law. But if you encourage people, you embolden the young men and women the way I was seeing, chasing the police, that is dangerous. So even as an operation, it is laughable, to say the least. If the police think they can throw tear gas to people and then disperse them, they know that can't work. But you can already see it's not working. So the command should be told, this country has gone through a lot. And people fought for the freedoms that are enshrined in the Constitution. Among those freedoms is the freedom to demonstrate, to picket, all those sort of things. Unarmed, peaceful. And the police themselves must also be told that the method they are using is not effective. In fact, it's dangerous because soon the police will be overpowered. Every time they are trying to quell some problem. Even in the Chang'an dens at home, people will beat them up. If that's where we want to go, I don't think that's a country I want to live in.
But now, to what extent is the National Police Service independent? That's a question that we're asking here, because we've seen a lot of political interferences therein. We've seen cabinet secretaries such as Moses Kuria make certain sentiments regarding tear gas and all manner of stuff. How do you think that the police perhaps may operate in this country without political interference?
You know,
Possible.
there are two ways of bringing change, or there are many ways of bringing change. One way is gradual. So we think ours is gradual. So we are in the transition. Some people are still operating under the old constitution. People have not woken up. So the kind of change we seem to be embracing, the change where with the time the police will gain their independence. An evolutional way of change where you transit slowly, because some people still think they have the powers their predecessors had in the 1990s. So that means the police will take time to know they are independent and to assert their independence. You've seen the courts trying here and there a bit. But there's also another way, which is you make a complete break with the past. So the American people, for example, made a complete break with the past, and they set themselves as a republic, as an independent country, and had certain rights and enshrined in their constitution. Some of them you cannot even vary by Congress. That abrupt change, I think we didn't choose that route. We chose the route of incremental, slow change. People learning that we have a new constitution, the Inspector General getting to know he's supposed to be independent, getting to know he can tell the president no. That maybe we shall get there, but the danger with this kind of approach, you make 2 steps forward, you make 3 backwards. Yeah. And because the danger again with this kind of thing, a lot depends on the goodwill of those in power. And that's why this constitution, I don't have much regard for it. This constitution was made with the assumption that perhaps Raila would be the president. And he would implement the constitution. I know this is obvious, because if Raila had won in 2013, we would have reaped benefits from the constitution. But unfortunately, he didn't become president.
You were talking about,
and the people who became president didn't believe in the constitution. And immediately they became president, Uhuru Kenyatta. He sought out to dismantle the constitution, or at least block its implementation. And we're seeing a lot of it happening even today. So this constitution, if we ever get a chance to have a relook at it, we will have to make it less dependent on an office. Yeah.
Definitely, ladies and gentlemen, we do hope that our police service will remain as independent as possible and act without any kind of political interference, and therein stop some of these things, or rather they would be at a position to know how best to deal with things such as demonstrations when they come about, without making Kenyans lose their lives unnecessarily. Till we have this conversation again,